Yo, what's good, Mr. Cowdrey? How you been?
Hey, yo, you actually answered my call, man.
Oh man, it's funny because you've always got a new way of calling me. Like right now, you're on my car console, and it doesn't even ring. You just like kind of pop up. So it's just different, you know.
I saw this pretty interesting project, and there were some stories written about it, and I thought it was an interesting use case for the metaverse, street art. The project is called Murals to the Metaverse, and basically they took some muralists out of Oakland and preserved their work, digitized it, and now they're basically these metaverse street art murals that otherwise would have basically just been painted over.
I've seen not exactly this installation that you're talking about, but I did see a similar installation, and it was actually having to deal with the metaverse. I'm not sure if you saw this, but they were taking this graffiti app. I think it's called King Spray. It's in Oculus, and they were spray painting murals, and they did one in memory of Virgil Abloh. And I saw that, and I was intrigued. I was like, wow, like okay, there's something to this whole street art, metaverse, NFTs, because you're right. This it feels like it fits, right? Because
Yeah.
in the metaverse, you can have a digital twin, and in that digital twin, whether it be of your own self via an avatar and like that's your identity, or you have a digital twin in the sense of like you recreate your home or a building, you can creatively deconstruct that, or augment it or destroy it if you feel conditioned to do that. What's fascinating is you can clone that environment and go into another one right after that. So if I want to change the wall, or if I want to do graffiti on it, I can do that, make an NFT of that, and then duplicate that, and then do a whole nother mural on top of that. And like we're in this space where it doesn't have to just be the physical world. Or I mean, I'm not sure you follow this, but I'm a Redditor, man. I'll be lurking on Reddit. And there's this thread. It's a subreddit. It's called Photoshop battles. Have you ever seen that one?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, so on the Photoshop battles, what I love about it is they just give people random base images and just tell them to go create, and they be making some really, really, really intriguing things. When you start to say, hey, street art, graffiti, merge these two worlds, there's a lot of graffiti artists that are just natively digital. They would never have the courage or the audacity to go up to a real building and do what they can do in Photoshop. But like, doesn't
Mm.
mean that it's not as cold as like I'm trying to think of a really like Banksy's a famous street artist. Who's another famous street artist that we all know? I'm trying to think of one. Uh,
Cherry, Shepherd Cherry.
yeah, Shepard Fairey is a great example. And so, like, you would never get the same recognition as a Shepard Fairey or maybe even a Banksy if you were really great at Photoshop. But now with NFTs and just the metaverse in general, and just being able to share some of these digital masterpieces that are street art inspired, I think we're gonna see a reemergence of this medium.
Yeah, I think so too. I like to the first point that you made. Like, it just feels like a good fit. It's
Yeah,
like you take this kind of ephemeral art form and you actually find a home for it that can like last a little bit longer. Because like the pieces that end up getting preserved, I don't know if you remember from the history books back in the day, but like when the wall came down in Berlin, they had preserved like the graffiti that was written on it from the West Berlin side, and like
mm,
that wall is still intact in Berlin today. And it's like, I don't know, rarely do you get to see like graffiti and street art basically live on, and it's nice to see kind of a way for it to exist in its own way. So I agree. There are textures too, like wallpaper almost in a sense. Like,
yeah,
you're buying a texture that you could coat your walls with, or your crib. Whenever like new NFT collections go to Sotheby's or Christie's, they put on their suits, right? Like you've seen that before, where
no,
like the
no,
Board
for
Ape
sure.
Yacht Club put the suits on. It's kind of like a texture that you can add to things.
No, no, you're right. I mean, like the thing that I find like fascinating off of that thread of thinking is this whole concept of digital wallpapers, right? Because we now have a ton of screens. Dude, I've got screens in my car, I've got screens in my office, I've got projectors in my home, right? And I'm a bit tired of that default menu. I'm a bit tired of that default, same Apple TV is like, here's a landscape, here's this photo. And so I've been experimenting even with like my desktop wallpapers of like, how do we do like this? How do we reinvent the desktop? Like, how do we reinvent the screensaver? Because that's a prime area of like, people talk about disruption. Man, somebody please disrupt my background on my computer, because it's been the same since 2000, since Windows 95. We had the same desktop joints and the same screensaver joints. Now the fidelity has went up, it's improved, but that's not because I think that was lazy innovation. I think that you had an OLED panel on a laptop, so you said, oh, we gotta improve the resolution in the background of the screensavers. But even still, a lot of them native joints, they not really that fly on there. Like, bro, I got curved monitor screens. I don't have curved monitor desktop digital papers, and the stuff that comes blanket with it don't make the screen look hot. So then you go on YouTube and you type in an 8K video and you see how hot your screen is, and then you close the tab, and then you be like, dang, this screen ain't looking, it ain't doing justice. There's no justice there. And I think that that's like, that's something that like when I think about like what the next era of NFTs and just digital masterpieces evolves into, I really do think that somebody's gonna come through and say, look, when your screen's off and it's resting, we think that photo gallery stuff is cool, but it's played, bro. I was thinking, you know, digital photo screens and stuff, that looked cool in 2006. I'm not in 2020 trying to look at some Google Picasso nonsense. I mean, everybody talks about, you know, oh, you could put your, like, I got a portal at the crib too. And you know, the portal takes all your Facebook photos and stuff. I'm like, bro, this reminds me of the Picasso photo albums in like 06, 07. Like, we've been past that. It's 2022, dog. Give me something cool. Like, I mean, like, think about the stuff I can do with my face, like with the avatars and the face filters. It's like, if I could do that with my face, why can't I do something similar with my background, dog? Or my screensaver?
I'm with it. I think we got to drop a line. A line of wallpapers.
You know, that's an interesting challenge. You know, I think the hard part there is it's probably the whole concept of how do you make it personalized. You got to personalize it, right? Like, I think that like we're beyond the whole landscape and cars and like, you know, I'm sorry, but I'm sick of an Apple like, you know, picture of a mountain. Like, we've been doing that since like since 04, it feel like, bro.
Let's get street art on the desktop.
I like that idea a lot. That's a whole lot of canvases to mess up. Think about it. Come tag my background, my desktop background. That would be fire, actually.
All right, man. Well, let's get to it.
For sure. I'll catch you in the future, my guy. One.